Bukenke, ago la roye bukenke.
Ago eleba 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 bukenke, ago la roye
Yes. Alafia. Alafia. Good evening, everyone watching. And for those who watch it, the playback, thank you for joining me tonight. Good evening. Wasiheru Ma'at Hotep, brother. That music, I'll put the link in the comments when the video is over. Alafia, brother, I see you there. Hotep, brother Stephen, I see you there. I see you there. Okay, so I'm doing this live tonight. I was inspired to do this live tonight based on a few posts that I've posted in the last couple of days that have enticed some rather strong feelings from my group of followers here on this platform. So I wanted to take the time to go live and build, on the subjects, offer the opportunity for anyone who may have a diverse opinion, about something I said to address me properly about it. And we can build on the subject matter. And then, of course, the title says, let's build in bullshit. I mean, no matter what, you have to be able to laugh at yourself, and laugh at the situation and stay lighthearted. So, but one of the topics was, it was a picture of a vagina, and in the opening of the vagina, it had the universe with planets and stars and all of that. For you watching, if you haven't seen the post, you can go and check it out and read the comments. But again, as I said, there were some rather diverse opinions, about it. And opinions, just as I stated. And people have rather strong opinions. And even deeper, they don't realize that they're that. Opinions. It doesn't matter what you believe, what you have been taught. What can you prove? What do you have evidence to back up? That establishes the foundation that you sit so firmly on and are ready to defend by any means necessary. We have to question all things, and what we call ourselves being a believer in or a follower of. We owe that to ourselves on this side of knowing, to stop just regurgitating information. I don't care who said it. If you don't have any proof for yourself, or this is not something that you've researched thoroughly and come to a conclusion for yourself, then, it's time to stop all this regurgitating and stuff. And like I said, being willing to defend another version of a lie. When a sister or, even when a brother posts the black woman is God, something like that, there's always some naysayer coming to tell the black woman what she is not. And I want to bring from my perspective as a, African American, well, not an African American, an African born in the diaspora. I want to give my perspective on it, because to me, if you're a man, and you don't have any schooling in regards to the female anatomy and physiology and her whole psychology and makeup, you're not qualified to speak on it unless you have the experience of being a female. And since none of you do, I feel like this is a subject matter that, should be left to us. Number one, there has never been a question of the gender of God being masculine. There's never been a question of that. Whether you've seen it as black or white, there's never been a question about the image of God being male. So to me, when you brothers come on posts talking about, oh, the black man is God, you know what you sound like? You sound like them same people who, when you say Black Lives Matter, they say all lives matter. You know, it's not a question about masculinity and what it has been seen at. The erroneous information is that the black woman isn't God. So, you know, and I had a brother come to my inbox talking about, oh, the sun is the male and the moon is the woman. This elementary ass knowledge that you came at me at to try to refute what I was saying. You know, first of all, it's not all about that. You know, second of all, if you God, or if you call yourself a son, number one, you have a birthday. The sun has an origin, but the darkness from whence it hailed is the eternal. So if you represent the sun, then brother, you have a birthday. What gave birth to you was the darkness. What is the darkness? It's that womb that you were sitting in as an egg. You know, the question is not about, is the black man or the black woman God? And to have black men coming and saying that she isn't is a part of the problem. Is a part of the problem. Do you hear white men going around and saying, no, our women's ain't queen? They call them broads queens and everything else. And a lot of you brothers will look at them as some kind of prize before you look at the black woman, having a black woman, a strong black woman who chose to be on your team. You know, you think you have arrived when you got one of them. And when it comes to the black woman and all of her 100 proof of her 100 proof ether that she had, you want to tell her to tone it down. You want to tell her that, oh, you're being masculine. You got all of these different things to tell her about who she should be and what she ain't. But when it comes to them others, they just fine the way they are. Explain that level of logic when you come from the black woman. So don't tell me you God if you don't say she God. Because in order to be royalty, or in order to be born of a certain bloodline, you know, you have to be born from a certain matriarchal bloodline. Mama Zogby said in her book, The Sibyls, the first prophetess of Mami Wata, the theft of African prophecy by the Catholic Church, the black woman is the only woman on the planet Earth who was not born under the yoke of patriarchy. Why not? Because for thousands of years of African history, it was and still is, in the parts who still practice their ancient traditional spiritual systems, you know, it was a woman. There is evidence that for over 25,000, not 100, but 1,000 years, the image of God was seen as a female, not a male, all over the planet. So when you come with this new age, and I say new age because this patriarchal system dawned a new age, that is the real new age, Christianity, and all of these things who place the feminine energy as subservient, is new age. The antiquity, or the old time religion, was what came from our mothers. You know, these same Bible stories and stuff that you Hebrew Israelites and even you woke people, you hold on to different parts of them. Why? You don't even know why you can't throw the whole thing away. Because your ancient foremothers are the ones who wrote them prophecies. The only reason that you even see certain parts of them manifesting symbolically today is because those parts are the parts that were not changed. Those parts are the ones that were plagiarized from the writings of our ancient mothers, the ones who dawned civilization, government, and religion. There wasn't a spiritual ceremony on earth that was valid unless it was presided over by the womb of the black woman. Show me a spiritual system before the dawn of patriarchy that placed the image of God as a male. You brothers who sit up and defend that and call yourselves awake, you don't even know that you don't know. I say, you know, you was in what's called a hypnopompic stage, which is the stage of sleep where you just waking up, but you still sleep. Brother Wasir Heru Ma'at says the man produces the sperm, but the womb gives a baby. Okay, this is what, you see, you this is what we know, all right. But the man produces the sperm, but the womb gives a baby. Like, even stop and listen to that. First of all, man has the ability to produce sperm. A woman produces an egg, you know. And when the man fertilizes the egg, then we got action. Then mitosis occurs, or cell division. And this union of masculine and feminine begins to replicate itself exponentially. And then we got an embryo, then we got a zygote, then we got a fetus, and then we got a baby. But again, as I stated, don't tell me that you're God and say that I'm not, because you can't do that without my egg. And the darkness is what even gave birth to that sperm cell. Did it not come out of the darkness? So if they both hail from the same beginning, then how is one divine and one not? You know, when we talk about who we are as sons of what you may call God, you know, when you take it to the biblical, you know, in Genesis 1, there's two beings being created in the quote unquote beginning of that book. Genesis 1:26 says, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. And then 1:27 says, so God made man in his image and likeness. You know, it's not till chapter 2 where it talks about this rib and all of that stuff. So it said, so God made man in his image and his likeness. Male and female created he them. These are two twin equal opposite principles that you find in everything. One cannot exist without the other. You can't have negative without positive. How will you know love if hate did not exist? How will you know who you are if the other people weren't here? You know, one cannot exist without the other. So don't tell me, you know, male and female created he them. Light and sound created he them, you know. In everything you have this duality principle. So why do y'all feel like it's right knowledge to tell the woman that she is not a part of this divine royalty? Why does she not have a place in the cosmos, in your thinking, if you do? So you just got there for yourself, right? So how do you discount thousands and thousands and thousands of years of documented history with proof, not believe? We ain't talking about what you believe. We talking about what there's evidence of and what Mother Earth has preserved and allowed to be unearthed and dug up. Where's the evidence of that? How do you have that standing? You know, let me see what my analysis is. What we run away from, the dysfunction which persists in our communities when we must all work to correct it. The dysfunction that we're talking about today, brother, is the fact that men think that they are God. Black men think that they are God, and she is not. Like I said, it's not we aren't talking about, you know, proving masculinity has divinity. That's not what we're talking about. In this new age of sleep, you know, that's not what's in question. So when you hear sisters like me, and when you see sisters like me standing up and professing true knowledge of self, you know, that wasn't given to her by man. Isis said, no man hath unveiled me. No man has snatched this off. I did it myself. So because I did it myself, you can't take it from me. You can't take my experience with the divine and with the spirit world from me. You can't take away the access and the authority that I know that I have to certain realms that is obvious based on what you display that you don't. Who she is in the cosmos is who she is. Matriarchy is not the opposite of patriarchy. Patriarchy has the woman subservient. Her position is beneath him. In all those spiritual systems, that's her position. Matriarchy has her on an equal playing field, and in some senses, elevated just a bit above the masculine. The country couldn't go to war unless the queen okayed it. Why? Because that masculine, that testosterone fuel, that's all of y'all about. Rah, rah, well, most of y'all in your nature, It's the woman or divine wisdom who thinks it through, who can see both sides of it. I had a brother come in my inbox talking about, he wanted me. Okay, I humbly say many men do. What makes you feel like you're worthy? Because I'm God, because I'm this, and I can mold and shape you. First of all, I didn't ask you to mold and shape anything. Did you mold and shape me in your womb? Oh, okay. Is the highest principle not wisdom? Is wisdom not in every spiritual system classified as a feminine principle? So how in the hell do you think, or why do you think that I need you to mold and shape me? That is the problem, a part of the problem, I should say. When you come across a woman who operates from a certain mindset, who moves on a certain level, or I like to think of what Maya Angelou called the phenomenal woman. When you come across one of those phenomenal women, because you've never experienced it, because they rare and few and far between, your infinitesimal knowledge that you have and the programming that you have causes you to want to classify it. And because it's like nothing that you've ever seen or ever experienced, you automatically say, oh, no, that's not that. That has to be this, or that's wrong. That shouldn't be like that. Let me tell you what you're supposed to be based on my programming, what I was told that a woman is supposed to be. A woman don't need you to mold and shape her. She is going to be, if she is one who's supposed to wake up in this life, she is going to be divinely led by the universe to knowledge of self. Nobody has the power to wake up anybody. You plant seeds. That person has the choice to water it. She don't need you to mold and shape nothing, just like you didn't mold and shape nothing in your womb and bring her here through your portal. Y'all got that bad and y'all need to stop that. Y'all act like y'all sit, we still waiting on this man to follow, this masculine, like we've been doing that. There have been a lot of brothers who've come along, ancestors who did their part. But if that was the end all, if it took this masculine energy to do something, then we would have had it. We would have had it. The power behind the throne of the Ashe, the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, whatever you want to call it, that is a feminine principle. They talk about the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Even in your Christian Bible, anytime Yeshua did anything, it says, and the Holy Spirit was present to make it so. He didn't do nothing that the Holy Spirit or the Ruach HaKodesh or the Ashe or the divine feminine, the hidden one, allowed to do. But y'all got so many degrees of knowledge, even a lot of y'all, labor and traverse to become Masons or my sons. And even call yourself, knowing. But you look down on the feminine the way that you do. You don't have a true respect for the feminine. You trying to be a my son. You seeking her knowledge. You seeking the knowledge of the nothingness that you came from. In Certain cultures in Africa, you can't even practice, or in Yoruba, those who are deemed osos, you can't even practice or your full amount of ashe be bestowed upon you until you have a true respect for the feminine, the divine feminine. It will never happen because that's the root of the power. Your mama ain't fit to give you no money or no nothing if she know you the kid that squander everything, that don't even overstand the value of things. Y'all got this thing twisted, thinking that you can operate without the divine feminine. You're unbalanced. Don't tell me you God. And don't also bow to the God within me. Namaste. People say that in consciousness. It translates as I bow to the divine in you. It's a greeting. And when someone says it to you, you're supposed to say it back. Why? Because if they recognize the divine in you, then that same divine is also present within them to even be able to recognize it within you in the first place. And in order to come into that divine, you had to respect the divine feminine. We see different hieroglyphs and stuff where they donned wigs and stuff like that. In the old legal systems here in America, we see the men, with them white wigs and stuff. Why did they do that? Because they were symbolically paying homage to the highest principle of wisdom, which is a feminine principle. It's a feminine principle. It's in everything, the hidden, the occult. That's what it is. And they got you brothers so gassed up and so ego fueled that you can't even rationalize the basic principle of, if you say you divine and she got you here, but she not God. Like you could do it by yourself. That's that bass backwards ass shit that we were taught. Have Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. There's no feminine principle. You show me on earth right now where two masculine principles with little magic can come together and create new life. Show it to me and I'll believe it. Show it to me and I believe that you can do it without me. In Ifa, there's a pataki about Oshun. And the Irumole coming to earth to create. Olodumare sends them down to create and whatnot, and they didn't respect Oshun, and so they went on about, trying to do what they were sent on a mission to do by, the supreme God, and nothing was working out. And so as they, seeing that wasn't nothing gonna work out, they went back to Olodumare, and like, why you send us on this bunk mission? Of course, I'm paraphrasing. Why you send us on this bunk mission? Meanwhile, Oshun, after they didn't respect her, she done went to the moon and just sitting there powdering her nose, looking pretty, waiting on them to realize who she is. And, they asked Olodumare, why you send us, on this mission? Ain't nothing happening. He was like, well, where's Oshun? All of them came back. All the Udumole came back. Where's Oshun? Oh, no, we don't need her. We really don't need her. She over there, and Olodumare is like, and he summons Oshun, and she explained that they disrespected her. They act like they didn't need her, and Olodumare made them apologize, and she accepted their apology, but, she said, don't let it happen again. Oshun owns the fresh waters. Oshun is the goddess of love. Bees and honey are sacred to Oshun. Nothing on this earth lives without fresh water. Nothing got here without the act of love. And if the bees were to leave earth tomorrow, it would be 4 years and this earth, life on earth, would be over. What does that say? What do you see in the moral of that story? That I don't give a damn what y'all try to do, what revolution or whatever, until you honor the divine feminine, until you honor what you can't go without, until you honor the expendable, until you recognize the fact that she is just as, if not more important than you are. Nothing we do as a people will come to fruition. We will always be in this position. We know we quote, a nation can rise no higher than its women. You teach a woman, you teach a nation. Why? Because she gonna teach the nation. Y'all spew all that stuff and then want to tell her that she ain't God. But you are. It's crazy. Let me see what y'all saying. We'll work together. Just like you can't have night without day. Yes, of course. Duality. Ancient African women could reproduce with man, process called parthenogenesis, right, of course. And a gland called the Bartholin gland is what that's called, secreted sperm. I wasn't even going to bring that up, but, that's what we know this. And a woman still has in her anatomy, same way that the snake has these leg bones that are, you can see it in its skeleton, even though they don't, come out. These things are still present in the female's body. It's just that as over time, when these things no longer were of use, we procreate with y'all now. But yes, that is a part, and when you talk about, we can't do it without you, a lot of times I don't even go there, because I'm like, at one point in history, guess what we did? And if you even look at the fact that she has that Bartholin gland, where was in a man that you can see that at one time he was able to reproduce by himself? Nothing. So one brother commented talking about, yes, God is a man. He created her to recreate himself. Man, scientifically, that don't even make sense. She got the plumbing for it. What y'all carried, y'all prostate used to be a womb. That's what that is. Show me some evidence of it and I believe it, Let me see. My opinion is, together we are divine and balanced. Indeed, brother. Indeed. And that's what I'm talking about. Together we are. You can't say you divine and she ain't. That you come from her. If you're royalty and you have a child, that child is also royalty. That's how it works. It's passed on through the bloodline. Let me see this. Okay, Melvin Witt says, you always need feminine energy, of course, but not every woman energy is for you, just like not every male energy, of course, is for the woman. Absolutely. Within the woman is the power. A brother had posted something hitting on this fact. Within a woman is the power to create and destroy, and he was saying, a real woman would, and I was like, not necessarily a real woman, but the right woman. When you have the right woman who is truly, your equal opposite, and y'all have something special, she gon', she's gonna build, anything you give her, she gonna increase it. And likewise, you have women who they just where they at, they seeking to destroy. They seeking whom they can devour. And men too. Men too. I say true. Evidence over belief. Absolutely. Brother Stephen Thrower. Evidence over belief. That's what we need to get to. Hey, Cousin Jasmine. That's what we need to get to. This blind faith that has been literally beat into our bloodlines, we need to get rid of that. I was in class, and the instructor was saying, with these white people doing all the stuff they doing, you think they worried about going to hell? No, because they know it ain't no hell, Would they do the things that they doing if the God that they gave you got a fiery place of eternal damnation for those who aren't good? You think they would be doing what they doing? No, they just want to drum it into us. They got you scared of your own culture while they using this against us to dominate over us. And they got you fighting amongst ourselves, to keep you distracted. You want to talk about how she ain't God and you know, and if you research deep enough, you know, you'll find that, you know, it was the patriarchal side of the matriarchal system who gave the secrets to the papacy in the first place. And that's what brought us down spiritually. You know, that's what brought us down. Look it up, research it. Mama Zogby, she's a powerful, very knowledgeable Queen Mother, Chief Amin Ganzi, you know, was a Harvard professor at one time. I'm not sure if she still is, but she gave a lot of knowledge. She self-published her book because the information that she was putting in there, they didn't want her to tell. So she self-published it instead of having Harvard publish it for her because she was a professor. She self-published it so that she could give us the jewels back. And she give you some unadulterated truth in that book. Historical documentation that you can, you know, use to debate not your brothers, but them about who you are. You know, we do these debates and stuff. I personally think that's counterproductive. And that is promoting disunity. Why do y'all sit up together and want to charge money to your people to sit up, you know, and debate knowledge, you know, one another? Who got the most knowledge and who all like that is so primitive to me. You know, that's the same way that the white man used to pit your brothers, make them fight to the death and charge for it, you know, showing that disunity. And y'all still do it in different forms today. You think you woke up just to debate your brother? Like that, that's all you supposed to have been. Or even you other ones. You think you woke up to be the weave police, the makeup patrol. Y'all will sit up and tell a woman, you know, what she's supposed to do and what she's supposed to look like and all this stuff like she is your child. Like her thinking is somewhat inferior to yours, you know. When we look at anatomy and physiology, the right brain is feminine. The left brain is masculine. The right brain controls the left side of the body. The left brain controls the right side of the body. You know, we in this up so we see a vice, well, a, you know, opposite thing going on. You know, we live in this is the upside down kingdom. Before time counted down, now time counts up. You know, everything is opposite. In this realm, we got the image of God as a white man. In antiquity, it was what's the opposite of white? Black. What's the opposite of man? Woman. You know, when you look at it and begin to think of it like that, it's one thing on the inside, but on the outside, it's something else. So even if we take that into consideration, you know, does your concept of God change? Your right brain is responsible for creativity, intuition. You can basically say spiritual things. The left brain is responsible for logic, you know, and things of that nature. I had a friend who went to Catholic school, you know, and she told me that if they knew that you were left-handed, that they would, every time you wrote with your left hand, they would pop you, like, and train you not to be left-handed. Why? Because they knew that those left-handed kids were right brain dominant, which again is responsible for creativity, intuition. The right brain coming online is what's called Christ consciousness. Even when we look at it like that, it's called, they're talking about Jesus coming back or Christ coming back. That consciousness is what is already returning. And that consciousness, when you classified it, is a feminine principle, the highest principle, wisdom. They say Christ, you know, or whatever was the highest title. I don't see how y'all take all that evidence and let ego say, nope, she ain't God, she ain't shit. If she ain't shit, you ain't shit. You come from shit, you know. The brother say, let's look at the X and Y chromosome, right? The Y has some less when you look at the X and the Y. X and the Y. The X is the Y which is masculine, XY makes a boy, is missing something that the double X has, you know. So clearly, on the chromosomal level, she has something that you don't. You know, she got something that you don't. What if that little something was her birthing gland? The ability to, at one time, not need you to be fruitful and multiply. Let me see. Wash and roll. Yes. They tell us to call us bucks and make us fight each other. Yes, they did, you know. And we still doing it, you know, today. They still doing it today. Still doing it today. You know, like I said, they have us scared of, my bad, somebody was trying to call me. They have us scared of our ancient culture. While they rule over us with it. They have us cursing a whole half of ourselves by abasing the divine feminine, by cursing its existence. Says Jada is left-handed. I believe it, you know, with her fire, you know, that she has, my little cousin, Jada. With that fire that she has, I believe it. I can tell, you know. A lot of kids who are right brain dominant, those are the ones who be bad, but they not necessarily trying to be bad. They just so mischievous, so curious and all of that. Most of those type of kids, you know, be left-handed. Be left-handed. Sitting on the right of the Father. Exactly, Don Man Dave. Exactly. You know, you're supposed to ascend, and to be seated on the right hand of the Father is what it said that Jesus did, you know. Right brain. Again, there's several clues, you know. It was hid for you, not from you. It was hid for you. Why? Because, again, somebody told it. We ain't gonna point no fingers, but man, who say we ain't God? But, you know, all that really don't matter now. What matters now is how we gonna correct it, you know. Are we gonna correct it? Are we humble enough to respect and honor the divine in one another, you know? I was talking on some platform, I don't even remember, recently, you know, but I was talking about, you know, how a man, you know, and in a lot of spiritual systems and cultures, you know, the woman just supposed to bow and just, you know, all of that, serve him and do what he say and all that, like she just, excuse me, this cursed individual, you know. I don't understand how, if she is so that, you know, why is she the one that's supposed to cultivate the minds of the children to build the nation? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. Asexually pregnant women has never been nothing new. You know, even in nature, we see asexual reproduction still being present today. You know, when they talk about a woman's place, you know, well, what is a woman's place? Let's look at nature. You know, in nature, the male seahorses are the ones who birth the eggs. The male penguin sits on the eggs while the woman go out there and find food. The female lioness is the hunter of the pride. So, what is her place in nature? If we take it back to the first teacher was nature, before all these spiritual systems and all of that, you know, we learned from nature. We learned by watching the times, the seasons, the stars, the animals. You know, well, if we look at nature and if we liken ourselves unto that, then she has no one particular place. It depends on what kind of female she is that determines her place. So in other words, all of them are not subservient. Same way you had some who were queens and you had some who were just regular subjects of the kingdom, you know. That's one thing that I have to tell you. Everybody wasn't royal, you know. Everybody, how everybody come from kings and queens? Who they rule over? So clearly, you know, although all of us come from the land of that rich and ancient culture, everybody that don't descend from royalty. I mean, it's just common sense, you know. But we as a people, you know, are the first man, the first woman. That is something that we, you know, share. That's something that we know that has been proven about what we are. And, you know, the brother had said in the beginning about, you know, correcting it. And when we talk about correcting it, you know, or we have, you know, these so-called famous underground people who y'all like to follow, people who were supposed to build schools that never did, and people who've been, I'm not going to even give them the satisfaction of saying their names, but all the people who y'all love to follow, who keep showing you and showing, taking your money and bumping your head, you know, when they put on these little different things, all of that stuff is counterproductive. What is it doing to enrich us as a people? What is it doing to change our state? What is it doing to show us unity, to be a living example of it? You know, leaders lead by example. If they are your leaders, then it's not surprising the low standard that we still allow ourselves to sink to on so-called this side of knowing. You know, I'll be looking at, you know, things and different things, and I'm like, man, if this is the epitome, man, erase our memories and put us back to sleep and let us try it again. Because we think we got it, but we still ain't got it, you know. We still ain't got it, clearly. Like, we just waking up to a lot of stuff. I remember talking about in one show, you know, when I compare it to science, or even look to nature to understand why is it taking us so long. You know, I look at the sun, right, and black people. You know, the only natural source of vitamin D is from the sun. So we, as highly melanated beings, we can sit in the sun longer, and we can absorb more of the sun's rays that your skin or your integumentary system, the largest organ in your body, your skin, synthesizes and creates vitamin D. We can take more than what a non-highly melanated person can. They don't need that much. They don't need to sit out there that much. So when I thought about that, I'm sitting outside one day grounded with my feet in the dirt, absorbing the rays like I do. I thought about that. I said it makes sense why, you know, no matter how much evidence is presented to our people, they still bucking and bucking and bucking. Why? Because you got to keep shining that light and shining that light and shining that light and shining that light. Because that's a melanated being. The amount that it absorbs, how much it takes a black person to absorb in order to create the vitamin D, you know, in the process of photosynthesis, when the leaves of the trees absorb the sun rays, you know, and the process take place, it's creating food for itself, or it's self-sustaining. You know, it's a system that's self-sustaining. It absorbs the rays, you know, it gives off oxygen, you know, carbon dioxide and all of that, you know, how the process works. But so it made sense to me why you got to just drum and hammer and hammer and hammer and shine that light and shine that light and shine that light before they finally be like, you know what I mean? So even when we look at a plant, you know, when you plant that seed, it's in the darkness. And we can't see what's going on underground, you know. We can't see what's going on underground. But we know that seed, if you water it, and even though it's not above ground and absorbing the sun, it's still absorbing the sun through the soil. And then once it gets so far, when it peaks, you know, and it sees the light, then it starts growing towards it, and it continues to go towards the light. You know, looking at that process, that's what gives me a lot of hope to keep on when it comes to our people. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you see. I don't care how many heads you may see me chopping. I do what I do, and there's a method for my madness. I do it for a reason, because I love my people. And same way your mama loved you, and when you was a little baby and you was fixing to go stick that fork in that light socket, she popped your ass to save your life. That's the kind of energy that I am. I will pop your ass to let you know that I'm mama. I will pop your ass to let you know that path that you're going on is hot, is deadly. It will kill you. It has killed you spiritually. You a zombie. Love ain't always unicorns and rainbows. Stop telling people, to be who you think that they should be. Some people got to play the devil's advocate. I posted one day, and a real good friend of mine, she's into the church. She was like, now, wait a minute, I ain't never heard it put like that. But this comes from one of my contemplations. I say, if the devil was created by God to, when you're not doing right, to run you back to God, then why do we call the devil evil? Why would we call it evil? If this thing that you were taught, and I'm talking about based in that spiritual system, if you were taught that this thing, they be like something bad, and they be like the devil busy. But why would we call that evil? Why wouldn't we look at it even as a necessary evil? One can't exist without the other. There goes that duality. One cannot exist without the other. She was like, man, I ain't never heard nobody refer to the devil as something good. It depends on your perspective. Perspective is based on life experience and knowledge intake. Those are the only things that can change your perspective. Based on what you've seen lived out, that's why you think the way that you do. And based on knowledge that you have been fed, it's knowledge, whether erroneous or not. That's why we view things the way that we do. So until you find some higher knowledge, or you have a life experience that shows you something different, you're going to think this. If you lived underground, let's say if you was born in a time where life was underground, the world was destroyed, people was in bomb shelters. Now, you grew up down there. They tell you that the sky's blue. You think the sky's blue, but in your mind, because you ain't never seen it for yourself, all you have is knowledge. You don't have personal experience. All you have is the knowledge that you were given. You're going to believe that it's blue, but you're going to always wonder, well, is it red? Could it be red? Maybe they don't know, until you come from underground and you look and behold it yourself and you see, wow, the sky is blue. Perspective is based on knowledge intake and life experience. And a lot of people, when you're presented with a piece of knowledge that you ain't never heard before, just because you ain't heard all these, like I said, these underground mainstream people who keep bumping y'all heads talk about it, you ain't gonna consider it. When what it is really is the universe trying to bring you life experience or knowledge to change your perspective. Based on the law of attraction, if you operate like, oh, I got it all figured out, then because that's the energy that you're giving off, the universe will not bring to you any experiences that give you new knowledge, because you're rejecting them. You don't want it. You have enough. No, thank you. I'm full. But when you change that way of thinking and open your mind, now all kind of information can come to you. Even the information that you may have never heard anywhere, A leader leads. A leader is the one, that can go into the ethers and get information and knowledge that has been taken from our people. Knowledge that we'll never see, that may be sitting over there in the Vatican, or that was burned when they came and pillaged our villages and stuff. That knowledge still exists, and until we stop being afraid of it, Until we start opening our minds, we're always just going to be running around here regurgitating, talking about we gods and goddesses, but acting straight animalistic. All we produce is negativity. That's my new 2021 word. Negativity. That negative mindset and behavior that you were abased to when our people were conquered. That's negativity. Choosing to stay in that mindset, although presented with knowledge or even a living representative of what something that you thought didn't exist or you thought couldn't be, If your mother was your physical teacher, or supposed to be, in the divine order of things, then why you feel like you got to teach her spiritually? Think about that. So the next time you see a post that say the black woman is God, all you brothers, before you be so quick to open your mouth and holler the black woman is God, we don't need that all lives matter shit here, first of all. And second of all, know that if she ain't God, then neither are you, boo. But she don't need you to make one of you. Let me make sure y'all ain't saying nothing else. And what's here? Oh, Melvin, I'm agreeing with you, sis. Oh, yeah, I know, brother. I know. I don't know, maybe you took that wrong. But I know you're agreeing. What's here, Herumat? In our pristine African culture, it is the sisterhood which resurrects the divine man. Come on now. Period. Anything else is just a flat out rejection of the truth. Is a blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. To say that it has no power. Christianity taught you that was the only unforgivable sin. And even you Christians running around here doing it and don't know it. Presented with something else, and cognitive dissonance still reigns supreme in your mind. Still love your oppressor and your enemy. But, okay, so if nobody else has anything else to say, I'm going to give y'all and play a little bit of this music, and I'm going to give y'all a couple of minutes to type something to talk about. Where are you getting your facts, Sylvester Bradley? Where have you not found these facts? Where are you getting your alleged facts? I love when people ask, what is your source? Let me tell you something. I am the source. I am the source. That's where I get my facts from me. The old school way, the way that we were able to do it before we were stripped of our culture. We deduced it from the ethers. We deduced it from the cosmos, from whence we hail. I didn't say anything. I'm listening to you. Okay, well, when somebody usually asks, where do you get your facts? That's usually not something positive. But if you say that it's not the energy that you were meaning it, then okay. But I am the source. I've read a few books here and there, more than most. I have a very extensive library. But, when you get to a certain level of knowing, you don't need to read as much. When you truly come back in contact and reconnect with your higher self, the you that exists in a higher dimension, the you that exists in all dimensions, because you're a multidimensional being, what you do, or what a prayer is supposed to be, is you sending up a query or a question to your higher self, the higher part of you that exists in the cosmos that knows all things, that God factor that you are, that God particle that you are, that quantum version of you. And you answer yourself, or you make it manifest, the higher you. you know. So there was a time, or even a time without books and stuff. There's certain cultures, their history, they didn't write it down. They kept it in here. And if they kept it in here, it can also be passed from there. You know, there was a time written and spoken language was considered primitive. They communicated telepathically. And the ability is still there, because faster than the speed of light is the speed of thought. It happens literally all day, every day. I can feel people thinking about me. I know who getting ready to call me. I just did my neighbor like that twice. He's like, man, how come every time I think about calling you, you calling me? You know, and I be messing with him because I like to take him light because of where he is. He old school. I was like, I can feel you thinking about me, you know, and I be playing, but I'm not. You know, when we get to a certain level of knowing and operating, we stop going without for what we know we have within. You know, I posted one time, talks about all these different inventions and what part of the human body that it mimics. You know, your eyes is a camera. Your mind is the supercomputer. How do you think that they got the idea? Connection went bad. When he said, I'm fearfully and wonderfully created. Why was that said? What does that mean? Well, in order to even know what that means, you got to look and see the workings of the temple. You know, we are not the body. This is the suit that we need. So to know thyself ain't got nothing to do with, you know, I mean, it do, but it don't. You know, this body is so much deeper than that. It's knowing your abilities while entombed in flesh. It's knowing thyself on a deeper level, you know. So when it comes to a source, some people need outside sources. Some people download data from a source that most aren't able to yet connect to. And that's they higher selves. That's the collective consciousness that we all are a part of. Some have access and some don't. So, well, I'm going to play a little bit of this song, like I said, and see if anybody else got anything to say. And then, if not, I'm going to let y'all go. And it'll probably be another year before I go live.
Jalorun, Winnie Winnie, me bear my answer. A fifi jeje, e fufu leje, ya wa o ya.
Yahweh, oh Yahweh, Hashem.
Iba
Oh yeah,
Ajalaya
Ajaloru,
Winnie Winnie Mibe Mayansa Afifi Jeje Efufu Leje Yawa O Yawa Hashem Iba Oya Ajalaya Ajalorun Winnie Winnie Miba Mayansa Afifi Jeje Efufu Leje
Yawa O Yawa Hashem.
Iba Oya
Ajalaya
Ajalorun Winnie Winnie
Miba Mayansa Afifi Jeje Efufu Leje Yawa O Yawa Hashem.
Yawa
O Yawa Hashem. Yawa O Yawa Hashem. Ó dàbọ̀.